We've been telling you how expensive getting a home or car is right now. The good news is in most cases, car prices are going down, but cars could still be pricey.
Well, yeah, the interest rates, of course, are still way high. Well, joining us to talk about it is Carl Brower. He's executive analyst with iSeeCars.com, and hopefully he's going to make us feel a little better about the purchase we're trying to make. Hey, Carl, how you doing?
Hey, great morning. Great to be on with you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, so what's your view on prices? I mean, we sort of have this idea with the interest rates being high. I mean, heck, Sofia's been shopping this week. We feel like
Yeah.
Cars are really expensive. What's your read on that?
Unfortunately, they are really expensive, and they're not as expensive as they were a year ago. A year ago, the average new car was priced 10% over MSRP. Now they're only priced about 8% above MSRP on average, but they're still priced that high. Same on the used car side. We're off the record highs from about a year ago, but we're still well above pre-pandemic levels. So if you're looking for a great deal on a car, you still can't find one. We're gonna have to wait longer, but you can find better deals today than you did a year ago.
Okay, so definitely wait a little bit probably to,
If you can,
if
right.
you can, yeah. Okay, so if a family does need a vehicle now, is it better to buy new or used?
It's probably still better to buy used because we've seen the new cars, like I said, they're still priced over MSRP. They're starting to sell slower because people are getting tired of paying the prices. So we just did a study that shows they're selling about 25% slower than they were a year ago. Used cars are selling a little quicker than they were a year ago because people are looking for value. And I think that's where you find it on the used car side. But you do have to do your due diligence and really seek out the good deals. They're out there, but you got to find them.
Let me ask you, what's your read on how, whether it's the interest rate, on the loan of the car, how much that plays a factor versus just the price? Like a new truck, I looked at one, I don't know, a few months back, it was like $80-something thousand with the random options. Like, that's just a big number by itself, and then you start tacking on the loan and all the fees and things.
Exactly, and that's why it does depend on what you're going to do. If you're going to buy and you're going to have a minimal loan, you can pay mostly cash, then I think a used car is a better deal. If you're buying new, a new car will have a lower interest rate. And so you might actually look at the price of a used car. Let's say you're going to spend 25 on a used car and take out a loan for 20, and you're going to have like a 10% rate. And you go buy a $30,000, $32,000 new car, take out a loan for 25, but have a 7% rate. Your monthly payment could actually be lower on the new car. So that's where a new car could make sense.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, that
when
is.
you look at it that way.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's a different way to look at it. Okay, so Carl, can customers get a better deal on a family car or a luxury vehicle, would you say?
Yeah, there are family cars out there that are decent deals. Certainly on the new car side, we're seeing things like the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid or the Mazda CX-9. Some of these cars are not that far over or even right at MSRP. And sadly, right at MSRP in today's world is a pretty good deal. So you can find decent used car or decent new family cars that are priced close to MSRP. Same thing on the luxury side, things like the QX80, the Infiniti QX80, that's priced pretty close to MSRP now. So you can find decent deals, but what I keep telling people is there used to not be any good deals. Now they're not everywhere, but there's pockets of good deals. And if you go online, you can do the research to find them.
Well, and that was going to be our next question. What do you think online versus the dealership? Is there a benefit to going one way or another?
You always want to go online before you go to a dealership because that's where you're going to determine the market price. You can look nationally, you can look locally, and you can start to compare prices across regions and across models. And you should always know the market price and the market value of a car before you ever leave your house. And it's easy to do. And a lot of sites, I work at iSeeCars.com. And at iSeeCars.com, you go on, you look at the list. We not only have the prices that they're at for each dealership, but we tell you right there, good deal, mediocre deal, bad deal. So you should know that before you ever leave. Then go to the dealership and get your deal. But don't do that until you've researched online first.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah,
great.
you got your marching orders, Sophia.
I know, thank you. This is so timely, Carl. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great being on with you guys. Have a great day.